Hi everyone, hope your preparation is going well. We are going to discuss the idea behind these two questions in today's video. The discussion on these two questions have been extracted from our actual class video. It is an advanced yet beautiful application of recursion in series. We cover this lesson at the latter stages of permutation combination preparation. The questions can actually be solved using PNC as well, but the recursion idea definitely reduces the effort to solve the question. You will also find this as part of the probability and advanced PNC understandings capsule. Simply visit our website, check the capsule courses, and under the QA capsules, the combinatorics module, you will find this capsule. This is actually the very last lesson of this capsule. You don't need any pen or paper while watching this video. Just enjoy the video and leave any comments or feedbacks at the end. Also hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed the discussion. In the first question, as you can see, there are 10 steps in a staircase, and a person climbs the staircase by taking one or two steps at a time. So wherever the person is, so let me draw the staircase once. So let's say this is the base of the staircase, and there'll be a total of 10 steps. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Just a rough staircase here. So suppose the person is here. In the first question, the person can take either one step or two steps from this spot. In the second question, the only difference is that the person can take 1, 2, 3, or 4 steps at a time. So maybe the level between the steps are smaller, or the person has very big legs. So somehow he can take 1, 2, 3, or 4 steps at a time. I've seen variations on this where people put in that the person can take maximum of 6 steps at a time. Really long legs or really small staircases. I don't know. But anyhow, let us take this particular example itself, the one I've just drawn here. So this is step number 1, step number 2, and this is the 10th step. Let us visualize it in this way, that how could he have reached this step number 3? Now, because he can take one step or two step at a time, he could have reached 3 directly via 2 or directly via 1, right? Please understand, I mean, he could have gone from 1 to 2 and then 2 to 3, but that really doesn't matter because when we are saying that he can reach from 2 to 3 directly, we are counting all the cases. We will be counting all the cases where he reaches 2 from 1. So that will be automatically taken into account. So you can treat these two things, I mean, directly from 1 and directly from 2. So let me write this down. Reaching step 3 directly from 1 or directly from 2. You can count these two scenarios as disjoint to each other because as I use the word directly. So if I go from 1 to 2 and then 2 to 3, that will not be directly, right? So these are disjoint cases. Now, mostly this question is solved because if you think in this way, so number of ways of reaching step 3 will be equal to the number of ways of reaching step 1 plus reaching step 2. The idea being that when we are reaching directly from step 1, so number of ways he reached step 1, there onwards he has reached step 3. And similarly, number of ways he has reached step 2, which includes 1 to 2 also, by the way. There onwards he directly goes to step 3. So whatever are the total number of cases for this, and whatever are the total number of cases for this, the total cases can be added and we can figure out the number of ways of reaching step 3. So suppose he can reach some x number of ways in step 1 and y number of ways in step 2. So in step 3 he can either go to 1 in x number of ways and then directly go to 3, or he can go to step number 2 in y number of ways and then directly go to 3. So obviously number of ways of reaching step 3 will be simply x plus y, right? So if you understand this idea, then it becomes really simple here to solve. So instead of doing this calculation in the steps, I'm just going to take 10 blank spaces. So that's 10, I guess. Yeah. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to brute force count the number of steps for 1 and 2. Just for step number 1 and step number 2. These are the step numbers, by the way. I'm just going to brute force count the first 2 steps. Now, this is something I'm going to simplify in a while when I'm solving the second question. But as of now, just count the cases. So step number 1, you can reach in only one way, right? Directly from the base. And step number 2, you can directly go from the base. or he can go to 1 and then to 2, right? So effectively, the number of ways of reaching step 2 will be 2 ways, either directly from the base or via 1 to 2. So that will take care. And now then onwards, that x, y, and x plus y idea will continue. So step 3 you can reach directly from 1 or directly from 2. So if the number of ways of step 1 is 1 and number of ways of step 2 is 2, the number of ways of reaching step 3 will be 1 plus 2, that is 3. Similarly, if you reach step number 2 in let's say m number of ways, and number of ways of reaching 3 is n number of ways, from 2 you can directly go to 4, or from 3 you can directly go to 4. So here it will be m plus n. So this is working like a Fibonacci sequence, right? If you're not aware of the name Fibonacci sequence, no issues. Just add the previous two terms. So simply that. So 2 and 3 added, you get number of ways of reaching 4. So that is directly from step number 2 or directly from step number 3. So 2 plus 3, 5 ways. Similarly, step number 5 will be 3 plus 5, 8 ways. This will be 13 ways. This will be 21 ways. This is 34 ways. This is 55 ways, and this is 89 ways. So effectively, all you have to do is just calculate this thing and understand. I mean, when you're calculating using cases, so this 89 has to be done in a lot of different cases. Number of 1 steps and number of 2 steps will be the case methodology, but that will take at least I think 5 cases or 6 cases you have to take into consideration. So for this question, the answer is 89. Pretty simple. Now, in the next question, the idea is similar. So let me take a higher value. So let's say the person has reached step number 7. So the person is standing on step number 7. So from wherein he can reach step number 7. So let me take these things off. He could have directly reached 7 from which possible step. So he could have reached 7 directly from 6 by taking 1 step, directly from 5 by taking 2 steps, directly from 4 taking 3 steps, or directly from 3 taking 4 steps, right? So in this case, the idea is that all the previous 4 terms will be added, right? So in order to reach step number 7, you could have done directly from 6, directly from 5, directly from 4, and directly from 3. So if I just modify this a bit, so number of ways of reaching step number 7 will be number of ways of reaching step number 6 plus number of ways of reaching step number 5, number of ways of reaching step number 4, plus number of ways of reaching step number 3, right? So all of these situations will be, all of these cases can be added up, and we get the number of ways of reaching step number 7. So in this case, we will be adding the previous 4 terms as opposed to the previous question where we were adding the previous 2 terms. Let's figure out the number of ways of reaching the first 4 steps. It's pretty easy to visualize in the same way, but then just observe what happens. See, the number of ways a person can reach the base, or you can say the 0th step or something. So this is the 0th step, right? The base of the staircase, he can always reach in one way, right? So this part I'm filling it here. Then step number 1, that is, can be reached only from the base, right? So there will be just this thing. So you'll have just one way. Now, when it comes to 2, see, you can reach from any 4 step behind, but there are no 4 steps behind, right? So there is just step number 1 and the base. So that is what I'm saying. Consider that also as a step. So 2 you can reach from here or here. If you remember the previous case, step number 2 could have been reached in 2 different ways, right? So this is 1 plus 1, 2, right? So the same thing is happening. So you can do it in this way as well. For reaching step number 3, we are adding the previous 4 steps, but we don't have 4 steps again. So we have step number 2, step number 1, and base. So effectively, you add all these cases. So you get 1 plus 1 plus 2, that is 4. For step number 4, now you have 4 steps, provided you consider the base as a step, right? But then again, you can reach this step 4 either from here or from here or from here or directly from here. So again, all the cases should be added up. So you get 1, 1, 2, 4, that adds to 8. See, till this point, what happens is for the first 4 steps, because the objective is 1, 2, 3, 4, you can take 1, 2, 3, or 4 steps. So for the first 4, what happens is the number of cases keeps on doubling. What you can do is for the first 4 steps, you can keep on doubling from 1. So these 4 terms can be figured out very quickly. This is step number 1, step number 2, step number 3, and step number 4. And there onwards, all you do is just add the previous 4 terms to get the next term. So that is 401. So here there will be 401. Now coming to this last part, I mean, this is all I have to discuss related to this particular topic. But let me explain why this doubling thing is happening. All right, we had this question. So this was a premise. I mean, on base of this, I mean, we had a question. I think like the time taken to fill the tank by the 8th pipe was given, and we would require to find the time taken by the 11th pipe or 13th pipe or something like that. But the premise is important. So it says in a system of pipes, the efficiency of the nth pipe is equal to the efficiency of the previous n minus one pipe. So this is a time and work problem, but the series idea is there. So effectively, this says E1 plus E2 plus E3 up to E of n minus one is equal to, all of this added is equal to the efficiency of the nth pipe. This is what the premise is, right? Now check this out. I mean, if you look at the left hand side, this is adding from E1 to En minus 1, right? So nth pipe is equal to the efficiency of previous n minus 1 pipes. So in this addition, you have added up to n minus 1, right? So let me just shift this and let me write one term prior to this. Now this condition is fulfilled for each and every pipe as given, right? So if I consider, let's say, this particular part, so efficiency of 1, efficiency of 2, efficiency of 3, up to efficiency of n minus 2. Check this out. I mean, these are the pipes which are before n minus 1th pipe, right? This is the n minus 1th pipe. So according to the premise, this sum of efficiency should be equal to the efficiency of the n minus 1th pipe. And then you have another efficiency of n minus 1th pipe added to get the efficiency of the nth pipe. So effectively what you have is twice the efficiency of the n minus 1th pipe is equal to the efficiency of the nth pipe. So effectively the efficiencies are doubling, right? So same thing is happening here also. The reason this block is doubling is simply because you know uh, this particular term is sum of all the previous terms. So whenever we have that idea, a particular term is the sum of the all the previous terms. So it will basically double. It will always keep on doubling. The first value could be anything. I mean, even if this first value is 5, let's say, this will be 5. This will be 5 plus 5, 10. This will be 5 plus 5 plus 10, 20. This will be 5 plus 5 plus 10 plus 20. So that is 40. So this will keep on doubling, because the reason being, I mean, this total is 20, right? That is how you got this value. So when you add 20 to 20, you should get 40, right? So first term being whatever, it will keep on doubling. But from the 5th step onwards, the reason it is not doubling is because we are not adding all the previous terms. So we have skipped out this one, right? The base value. But for the first 4 steps, it is bound to double, right? Because even if you consider the step number 4, the base value will be considered when we find the number of ways of reaching step number 4. So even if this is like a total of 8 steps, and you can take a maximum of 6 steps. So for the first 6 terms, you can simply keep on doubling. So that 8 steps in a staircase, we can take a maximum of 6 steps at a time. Number of ways of reaching the top of the staircase. So you can just, I mean, this is exactly what I did. I solved this mentally, because it's not very tough to do if you understand these ideas. So for the first 6 steps, it will keep on doubling, right? So 1, 2, 4, 8, 16 and 32. So the first 6 steps are done. Next step, if I would have added the base value also, then this would have been 64, right? But when I'm figuring out for this one, the base value is missed out. So you just have the previous ones. So if I would have added all of this, then that would have been 64. So just subtract that one, so you get 63. And for this, what you can do is you can just again use GP idea. So what I visualized it in this way. So 2, 4, 8 up to 64 had it been. So this would have been double of this, so 128 minus 2. That would have been 126. But we have 63 instead of 64, so minus 1 to that. So that is 125. So this step can be reached in 125 ways. So thank you for joining in. That's it for this particular lesson. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care. Hopefully you liked the solutions we provided for these questions. And if you did like it, do not forget to like the video and share, subscribe, and comment. And if you plan to prepare with us in a structured manner, then do check the courses in our website. In the CAT comprehensive course, you will not only be prepared for each topic for CAT, XAT, NMAT, SNAP, IFT, but you will also have a one-to-one guidance and doubt clearing throughout your preparation. The workshops, mocks, and sectional tests will prepare you for strategy and decision making in the tests. The GDPI VAT preparation is also included in the course, making it a one-stop preparation hub for CAT and other management entrance tests of India. Take a trial of this course and check the way we have trained before you make the actual purchase. For both CAT as well as GMAT, we also offer the option to attend the classes live and one-to-one with mentor. Depending on whether you are preparing for CAT or GMAT, check the relevant course among these two. You will have the option to take the full course or customize the sessions as per your requirement. For instance, you may purchase the hours for just out clearing or mock analysis or any specific topic. Simply book a demo with us and have an experience of our one-to-one sessions. We also have mini courses, which we call the capsules, customized for you to select specific areas and train yourself. For each specialized area of training, you will be trained everything from basics to all types of applications and variations of that particular topic. If you are looking to strengthen your understanding of specific areas of any section which are tested in CAT, GMAT, or any other aptitude tests, then this will be the perfect course for you. Each capsule will have video lessons as well as practice sets covering all areas of that topic with video explanation of each question that are discussed in the practice sets. Every course at Mathoratory is designed to provide flexibility and complete support as per students' requirement. We will always be there to guide you and help you prepare as best as we can. Simply visit our website and check the relevant course. Book a demo with us or take a trial of the course and make the right choice as per your need. Thank you for joining in and have a pleasant preparation ahead.